Alright everybody, welcome back. Joel from Two Brothers Tactical. We went over on Saturday the build of this 80% lower. It was an Anderson lower, AR15, and we said that we were going to try and get a video out today, which we're going to, on this Boyd stock. So just a quick overview of what you're going to need here. Obviously is going to be the AR15 that you're going to be changing. The Boyd stock, any color you would like to get, they make them in different colors. You're going to need an A2 fixed stock buffer tube, a 3/16 and a 5/32 Allen key or hex wrench, whatever you prefer to call them. I like to use a vise for some of this, so a vise block does come in handy. A delta ring tool and an AR15 armorer's tool, or they call that, Wheeler calls it a combo tool. So let's get started. So everybody has their own process and ways of taking these apart and redoing it. I just do the easiest stuff first because I'm going to have to remove the upper anyway. So while I have the old stock on, I don't want to mess up the new stock, so I'll take the hand grip off now while I could rest the gun on the old stock. So you want to get your delta ring tool, slide it up and under, and you can do this just by pulling down on that ring, but the tool does make it a lot easier. I'm going to pull down and these pop right off. Like so. And now you're just going to go ahead and do just the reverse for the new ones. Up first, pop right into the bottom, and same thing on the other side. Okay, that's installed. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove our upper and work on our lower portions here. So as you can see, we have the upper removed. It's in the vise block, in the vise, and we're going to be replacing this pistol grip. So we're going to go ahead and remove the old one. Take your Allen key and just start to unscrew it. You do want to be careful at this point. There is a spring that sits right about here for your safety selector switch. That spring holds in your detent. You don't want to lose that. So if your grip starts to come up, just a little downward pressure on it until you get that screw loosened up. And you want to come up nice and easy. See that spring right in here? It does have tension on it, so you just want to come up nice and slow on this. Hold the spring, and the grip comes right off. Now, for the install of the new one, the screws are already inside, and there's a small hole here. Go ahead and insert your spring, and you want to take just a little care that the spring winds up in the hole in the receiver where the detent is. And go ahead and tighten down that screw. Okay, so for the first step here, what we want to do is we want to remove our buffer tube and spring. There is a small spring and a small buffer tube retaining pin right here at the back of the buffer tube. You want to push that down and your spring will pop out. And for right now, you could leave that in place. Okay, next on these adjustable stocks, all you have to do is move them to the rearward position, pull straight down, and they slide right off. You want to loosen up your castle nut. That'll be your next step. Take your tool, set it right in here, loosen that up. Now, one thing you wanted to be cautious of at this point is right back in here is the spring for the detent for your takedown pin. So you loosen your castle nut all the way up, and you just slide that plate out of the way, and you'll see your spring. While you're doing this, what you want to take care of is that detent spring that we just pushed down for the buffer retainer. You want to unscrew the buffer tube holding that pin. Now you can remove this detent spring. Now you want to make sure that you're holding the buffer tube retaining pin in place because you're going to be taking the tension off of it, and when these things come out of here, if you don't have your finger on it, they fly like a rocket. Once you're clear of it, you could release your thumb, take the tension off, and your retainer, spring, and pin will just sit there, and you can go ahead and unscrew your buffer tube. The next thing you're going to do is take your A2 buffer tube. Boyd supplies the screw. They do not supply the buffer tube. I learned that the hard way. You're going to go ahead and reinsert your buffer tube. There's no need to put your spring back in right now because your stock is going to act as that plate holding in your retaining spring for your takedown pin. So you just go ahead and screw this in. And you want to screw it in just till you start to pick up a little tension on that buffer tube retaining pin. You want to push it down and continue to screw in your buffer tube until it gets snug. Next, you're going to take your tool back and you're just going to snug this up. Perfect. Next thing you want to do is reinsert your buffer tube. Now at this point, you can reinsert your spring. Take care not to lose it. It's going to sit just in there. Now right here on the stock, the spring is going to rest on here. This piece right here on their stock acts as that metal plate. Slide your stock over and make sure that spring doesn't get any kind of pinched or binded or anything like that. Take your screw, insert your screw, and then we're just going to screw it down. Right about there. Okay, we're all set. Let's get it back together. Okay, so for reassemble, just want to put your pins back in, bolt takedown pins. And there you have it, guys. It's a traditional look on a modern rifle. I like it a lot. It feels great. It is a laminate, so it's not a wood, but it does have a very nice wood look to it. It's a little bit tougher. I still wouldn't bang it around too much, but overall, I'm satisfied with it. As you can see, assembly and putting it together was very easy. I'm happy with it so far. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and share. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.